What's up, y'all? SomeNutzGuy here, bringing you my tips and tricks to help you survive in Night of the Dead. Let's go. Alrighty, tip number 1. This is going to be about research prioritization, especially in the early game. There's going to be a few things that you're going to want to prioritize that are going to help you through the early stages of the game. And these are the things that I would focus on and that I would prioritize and my reasons why. Now, firstly, there's a few things that are going to help you to gather resources faster and to have decreased building costs, which of course are just going to mean that you need less resources overall. So I prioritize the forest worker, quarry worker, mine worker, and master worker as early as possible. Forest worker gives you additional damage to trees plus 20%, so it's basically plus 20% in tree destruction. And the same quarry is for stone, mine is for metal, and master stacks on top of that and adds 20% additional to all three. Junior builder, builder, senior builder, master builder.
I am a master builder!
Do something very similar, but for building costs. Wood making knowledge decreases the ingredients for wooden buildings by 15%. Builder is stone, senior builder is metal, master builder stacks on top for an additional 15% of all three categories. One I would also look at prioritizing early on in the game is going to be zombie hunter when you're looking to go exploring and clearing out zombies while you're exploring, because that'll give you an additional 20% damage to zombies. And out of necessity, you're going to have to get junior engineer and engineer quite early on as well, because those are vital components for creating your first few traps. Other than that, I would go on preference, and you would probably want to pick up novice porter quite early as well, because the initial inventory size is fairly small. However, getting that one level in novice porter is going to help to increase that by 12 slots so that you can carry more when you're doing your first explorations or when you're farming lots of resources. Tip number 2. This relates to the 3 bars that you see in the top left corner there. The first one is obviously your health. The second one is your stamina. Both are very self-explanatory. The third is a little bit different. The third is called condition. Now, condition will determine the maximum amount of stamina and the maximum amount of health that you can have. So if your condition decreases, which it does over time, then your maximum stamina, your maximum health will be reduced. The way that you increase your condition again is by eating certain foods that say plus X amount of condition. As an example, we've got oranges here that look like lemons that give you plus 5 health each. These will not affect your condition when eaten. They will, however, increase your health, of course. Uncooked meat will decrease your health, but improve your condition. So I could eat this, my health will go down, my condition will improve, and I could eat other foods to increase my health back up again. Or you can use things like roasted meat or your energy bars, which will both improve your health and your condition. So if I eat this roasted meat, you should see that my condition and my health and my stamina all return to max. Happy days. Tip number 3. I recommend building your main base or your head of operations separately from where you intend to fight the zombies during the horde in the night. So your head of operations or your main base will be where your bed, your storage, your crafting stations, and your research table all lie, and we want to keep those safe. Zombies will take the quickest path towards your character. So during a horde invasion in the evening, I like to set up in my gauntlet. So the second part of my base is an entirely separate zone that I call the gauntlet, which is where we're going to be filtering zombies through during the invasion in the evening and keeping our main base and our important stuff safe. Tip number 4, upgrade to stone and then metal as soon as possible. The resources required to upgrade are fairly minimal, and if you haven't gotten to sort of stone or metal by night 3, you're probably going to be running into some trouble. Tip number 5, let traps kill zombies as much as possible, especially in the early game. In terms of resources to damage done, it costs 1 tree branch to reload a trap, and that's much less compared to the 1 tree branch and 1 piece of iron for every 5 arrows that you shoot. So let traps kill zombies as much as possible, especially in the early game. Tip number 6. PETA is not going to like this one, but you're going to want to hunt as many animals as possible from as early as day 1 to gather their bones, hide, and feathers, because those are the items that you're going to use to upgrade your accessories and weapons throughout the game. What you don't want to find is that you're going to be bottlenecked late game on your upgrades because you haven't killed any of the dozen pigeons that you've seen along the way. Tip number 7. This goes hand in hand with tip number 6, but what you're going to want to do is place a few of each type of animal trap as early as you can. These are going to give you a steady supply of meat, which is going to keep you healthy throughout your early engagements. And it's also going to make sure that you have a good supply of the resources required to perform upgrades on your accessories and equipment throughout the game. You've got the small trap for small animals like rabbits and foxes. You've got the medium-sized trap for larger animals like boars and deer. And you've also got bird houses for pigeons, ravens, and eagles. There are no traps which can trap bears, so you're going to have to just go out and fight them yourself. This clip will cover tips 8 and 9. Tip number 8, you can use cars if you're in trouble as safety, as if the zombies have no path to you. They will not be able to get you, and they'll wander around a bit aimlessly, so you can use this cleverly, although it might not work too well in a swarm. Tip number 9 is early on in the game, when resources are scarce and you don't want to waste arrows, avoid finishing blows with a headshot. Now, headshotting is fine and does increase damage, but if you finishing blow with a headshot in the current stage of the game, the arrows will explode out of the body when the head explodes, and your arrows will go flying all over the place. Now, this one wasn't too bad. I can, pick up most of these, but sometimes they really go flying everywhere, and they kind of seem to slide along the floor, so you probably won't be able to pick up all of them. So get a couple of headshots in first, and then finish them with the body. Time for tip number 10. We've got our pincushion buddy back again, and this tip is a little bit of an interesting one. So, if we are in a position where we're fighting an enemy and they're going to take a little bit more to take down, or we're fighting multiple enemies and we've run out of arrows, for whatever reason we can't finish the remaining enemies with melee and we're running out of arrows, there's a trick that we can use to pick up the arrows off of the people that we've shot already. Now, as you can see, if we walk up to this chap, we can press T to take all, and that will take all the arrows out of him. However, if we do so, that is going to pause us, and we're going to stand still while we pick up those arrows, and we're going to take some damage. If there's multiple enemies there, we're going to be in big trouble because they may swarm us and kill us while we're trying to take those arrows back. So we can utilize the take all function, and the fact that it has a slight delay between when you say take all to when you actually pick up the items. So what you can do is you can use your last 2 arrows to shoot them into the floor, or you can use existing items that are already on the floor. But in this circumstance, say there's nothing on the floor, we can shoot 2 arrows into the ground, and we can now take all. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take all right before they arrive at us, and we've now picked up the 16 arrows that were, or the 14 arrows that were also inside their chest without taking any damage. And now we can finish them off with the remaining arrows. Happy days.